Welcome on stage, Leah Dunlop.
Wow, that's quite an act to follow. Penso che lei abbia dato una grande lezione ai colleghi, non soltanto che non sia un problema, ma anzi avrà arricchito in modo immesurabile la loro esperienza e la loro comprensione di chi è diverso. Quindi penso che abbia fatto un grande favore, veramente. So, switching to English, because I can talk quicker in English. Hello, welcome to everyone. Let's go. I'm physically incapable of talking without slides, so I use them as a stool. Diversity inclusion. I think, there's a compelling case for diversity. All the speakers today have made that case. Actually, I like to look at diversity and inclusion from a different point of view. I don't think that diversity is an advantage. I think that what I call omogeneità, is actually a svantaggio competitivo enorme. If we look at boards that are white, middle-aged men, are they really going to make the right decisions? Are they really going to come up with the best innovative solutions? No. And diversity means diversity across the whole spectrum. Sexual orientation, gender, disability, social level. That's very important in the UK, widening social access. So I think progress has been made. We've seen that, women directors now represent 30% of boards in Italy. But as everyone has already said, the problem is senior executive management. Groups like 30% Club, which Odile Robotti has established in Italy, and I think, I don't know if Odile's here today, but I would commend employers to join 30% Club, has set objectives to try to get 30% of women into senior management executive positions, not just non-executive positions on the board by 2020. And I think we all know that diversity is a good thing. The key question is how we get that greater diversity at home, in society, and at work. I can do a bit about my home. Each of you can do things about raising diversity and talking about it and including and empowering people within your homes. Society I can't do much about unless I become a politician, which I'm not going to do soon. But something at work we can do. So I'm going to try and pull together some key themes and key activities. The first thing is that diversity and inclusion only works if it's led from the top. And I don't just mean on International Women's Day or therearound. Every single day, every single week, we should be thinking about inclusion. Are we including all of our diverse members in our workplace? How do we attract diverse talent? There'll be a little bit on that later. And we've tried to embed, Hogan Lovells, it's not a success story as was Sufania's. I think it's still work in progress. We're really working as hard as we can on it, but we're making progress. We have embedded diversity in our leadership committees, which range from the International Managing Committee, which is the executive committee, and the board, which is like our sort of supervisory board, to give an analogy for those who really are closer working with corporates. We also are starting to embed this, not just regionally, across our various offices, but also within our practice groups, corporate, finance, dispute resolution, IP. And we try to, instead of putting on diversity events, we try to put diversity into the events that we're holding, internally and externally. So I've made a rule in Italy, as Italian diversity champion, I can do that sort of thing, that we cannot hold an event without women speakers, either from our clients or from ourselves. I'm hoping that we can go one step further and insist that we also have LGBT community members there, but we're going to have to recruit some more first. We've got some, but not enough. Diversity champions. I'm diversity champion for Italy. There is a diversity champion in every single of our 47 offices across the world. And they are each creating or have created diversity teams who are working on how to include all of our diverse members and empower them to contribute. And empower is a really important word, and the other word you'll hear me use a lot is networks, because I believe that these teams don't just become empowered to contribute. They advise us. This isn't a top-down thing. This is also up from our diverse members. They advise us. They help us understand how we could organize ourselves better. So what have we done? We have a plan, which is always a good start, and we've had various plans. This is the latest one. I don't want to bore you with the detail of it, but effectively we have 6 pillars, and we have detailed objectives within those pillars which wouldn't fit on a slide. Typical lawyers can't fit things on one slide. But crucially, we have key performance indicators that we measure. And really the most important of this is that monitoring progress. We measure what we're doing, and if it's not enough, or if it's not in the right direction, we correct it. It's really important. This is a scientific process. Set yourself goals by certain periods, by certain years, by certain months, and then check if you're meeting them, and if you're not, correct. So where have we got to? Well, as I said, it's work in progress. We're not doing badly, but it's nowhere near good enough. A third of our international management, global management, are women. At the moment, we're focusing mainly on gender diversity, but as I say, I always want to get to the next mile, and we're going to focus on LGBT diversity within our leadership committees. 40% of our practice group leaders, those 4 groups that I mentioned, and our regional managers are women. So we've done well, but where I think we've fallen down is the percentage of women partners that we have. And we are putting in tools to help us improve that. If we go forward, so what have we done? Some of the highlights in 2016 are there. The ones I'd like to mention in particular, which I'm very pleased about, is the launch of our global LGBT working group, which we will be building on this year, as you'll see in a moment. We have also trained every single of our 800 plus partners on unconscious bias, which is something that creeps up on you. And it was probably one of the most interesting trainings I've ever done in my life. Taught me an awful lot about my own unconscious bias. And we will be rolling that out, I hope, to others. I'd like to extend this all to other members, because I think obviously it's not just the partners, it's not top down, it's from the teams below us that will help us. So what are the ongoing challenges? Well, there are challenges. You know, operating on the sort of global matrix we have, Dario, you know this is complicated. There is a regional matrix of, you know, where the locations are, and then there are practices which are present in each of those locations. And pulling those together is quite an effort. And as I've said, I don't think the level of representation of LGBT community nor of ethnic and racial diversity is anywhere near where it should be. I think we will get there, probably will get there in Italy, I hope sooner, as former immigrants and their children come through our education system. We will begin to see ethnically diverse lawyers, but it's pretty rare at the moment in Italy, I think. And I think one thing we will be focusing on is business services. We talk a lot about being a law firm, but a law firm is a big business with business services. By that I mean marketing and BD, and we have representatives from our marketing and BD team here today. Finance, IT, facility management. These are huge business areas in themselves, and we haven't focused enough on diversity within those service areas. So we're going to be, you know, really looking at that next year as well. One of the other things that I want to look at in particular, we've talked about work allocation and trying to make sure that we're allocating without this bias in our head of giving the same type of work to the same person that I gave it to last time, cultivating the pipeline. this is one of the things that has to be done to fill those senior women management positions, concentrating just for a moment on gender diversity. Fortunately, with one of my other hats as co-head of Continental Europe's corporate team, around 350 partners and at least double that in terms of associates, I have control with my German colleague of the pipeline. So I review senior associate promotions, council promotions, and promotions to partner, and I am looking very carefully at how we can fill that with women, how we can encourage them to stay and move through our career progression, go away, come back, but at least contribute, however it may be, working agilely, working part-time, working flexibly. There is so, in this business, which is, and this year of technology and how everybody can work flexibly. I don't know about you, but I spend half my time trying to find a Wi-Fi network I can latch onto to send my emails, send my documents. We must be able to improve. And I think that moving to networks, which is a key theme for me, I think networks are absolutely key to empowering and embedding diversity. We need to empower people to contribute, to feel themselves. I cannot imagine what it can be like to come to work and not feel that you can just be yourself, because if you're not yourself, how can you contribute effectively? I've mentioned that they will advise, but one of the things I'd like to extend is actually engage externally, put together our networks, our diversity teams, our allies, also we will be launching an LGBT allies program this year, to put them together with similar networks in other law firms, with our clients and contacts, because we can learn from each other. I think that's just so important. And apart from the fact that it's just fun, it's so interesting to learn about somebody else's point of view. It enriches you and makes you also, I think, contribute much more effectively. So the golden rules are leadership. It's absolutely key that your leaders really do subscribe to this diversity initiative and stick with it. And Chinese water torture, continuous, constant, every day, keep at it, keep at it. And networks, use them because they empower the people who are part of them and they can advise you. But just, this is really the last, my last comment before just a short video at the end. I think that, clearly these are all incredibly important issues and we need to really put our backs behind them. But if we just lift our heads slightly and look beyond our national borders, these are horrific figures. They are from UNICEF and UNESCO. Empowering girls and women, if I can just return to gender diversity, 61 million children of primary school age are not in school, and the majority of those are girls. Worldwide, 15 million girls are never expected to enroll in school at all. And adult literacy is still running at a very high rate. And the vast majority of those illiterate adults are women. And there's been no improvement in that over the last 16, 17 years. It's imperative to empower girls and women. So yesterday, I'm also the global champion. I've got a lot of hats, but I've got a big head. I'm also the global champion for our Empowering Women and Girls initiative, and it's probably the role that makes me the proudest and the happiest, because I actually can change things. Yesterday, in all of our 47 global offices, over 5,000 members of the firm were invited to view a film called Solar Mamas, or Solar Mamas. Next. And this is a project that we're entering into with Barefoot College, who will be our citizenship partner for the next 3 years. So across all of our activities in citizenship, pro bono, diversity, environment, the works. We have 4 or 5 strands to in citizenship which we work at. Barefoot has, you can look them up, they're a very interesting organisation, but their main objective for the next couple of years is to train 500 women in regional centres across the world that they will be establishing, and we will be helping them, to become solar engineers. These women are illiterate. They're part of that group who cannot read or write. They will become, over 6 months, solar engineers. They will return to their communities where they will bring light and electricity to 20,000 households, thereby enabling over 200,000 people to study, work in the evening, where before they couldn't do it if they wanted to. They had no daylight, they couldn't cook. It will ease their lives, give them more time to do things that will enable them to fulfill their potential. It's an extraordinary, and the film follows the story of one such solar mama, a lady from Jordan who, after facing enormous difficulties, managed to train to become a solar engineer and is now training others in Jordan to do exactly that. I recommend the film to you. If you search it on YouTube, I believe it's there. But going back to networks, because you will have understood by now I have a thing about them, networks I think are very empowering, and I think I'd just like to share with you an example of how a network can really be empowering. Thank you.
One day more. That's all I asked. This interview, this dreaded task, a dreamless sleep, awake at dawn. I leave her there, this anxious morn. Have I done enough, prepared and thought? Have I listened to advice I've sought? I have to fight, I have to try, I have to reach this dream set high. Need some air to clear my head, empty streets, a cosy bed, revision notes as clear as day. To interview, I'm on my way. This global firm, the future here, my destiny in this career. With my heart in my throat, a message on my phone. Maybe, just maybe, I'm not on my own. Be proud of who you are.
Thank you.